Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the Noon News from Montana's news leader.
Good afternoon. We're glad you could end your week with us here on the Noon News. I'm Aja Goare. Our top story this half hour, the manhunt for an eastern Montana man accused of killing his twin brother on Thursday is over after the suspect was found dead today of an apparent suicide. The Carter County Sheriff told Newell Broadcasting Corporation in Baker the search for Eric Carlson is over. Carlson allegedly killed his twin brother Travis around 5:15 p.m. Thursday. Authorities combed the scene on Tie Creek Road about 30 miles southeast of Ekalaka for evidence this morning. The victim's cause of death has not been released. A motive is unknown. Republican senators showed unity last night in passing a budget that paves the way toward tax reform. CBS's Seth Lemon has more.
The yeas are 51. The nays are 49.
The Senate cast a mostly party-line vote to approve a $4 trillion budget plan Thursday night. President Trump praised the vote on Twitter. This now allows for the passage of large-scale tax cuts and reform, which will be the biggest in the history of our country.
We have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to replace a failing tax code that holds Americans back with one that actually works for them.
This budget makes room for a tax reform plan that would add about $1.5 trillion to the federal deficit over 10 years. And it allows Senate Republicans to pass tax reform without a Democratic filibuster, meaning they need just 51 votes instead of the usual 60. Democrats say the GOP tax proposal benefits the wealthiest Americans the most.
Essentially, it green lights tax breaks for the super wealthy in this country at the expense of everybody else.
House Speaker Paul Ryan told CBS this morning that they will introduce a new tax bracket designed to keep the tax cuts from benefiting the top 1%.
Once we get that budget resolution, that tells us how our numbers will work. Then we'll introduce the bill, which will have that fourth bracket designed to make sure we don't have a big drop in income tax rates for high-income people.
Ryan says his goal is to get a tax reform bill out of the House in early November.
Mr. Alexander.
Giving the Senate several weeks to consider and pass it before the end of the year. Seth Lemon, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Before Congress can start working on the tax reform, the House must vote on the Senate version of the budget. That could happen as early as next week. The back and forth over treatment of the military's Gold Star families is ongoing today. Florida Congresswoman Frederica Wilson is accusing White House Chief of Staff John Kelly of lying. And overnight, President Trump tweeted about the controversy, calling Wilson wacky. The family of a soldier killed in Niger is now speaking out. So too is John Kelly, a four-star general and Gold Star father himself. We now know the name of the suspect in a fatal stabbing on the Crow Reservation in June. This just 1 week before the case goes to trial. Andrew Plentyhawk is charged in tribal court with deliberate homicide, aggravated assault, and intimidation. Plentyhawk is accused of killing 29-year-old Tim Bigman, who died from a stab wound to the abdomen. The FBI won't say where on the Crow Reservation the incident took place or what led to the stabbing. Under the Major Crimes Act, felony offenses on the reservation are typically prosecuted in federal court. And that's because tribal judges can only impose a maximum sentence of 3 years per offense for up to 3 offenses. As of today, Plentyhawk is not charged in federal court. A Billings boy reported missing on Thursday was found safe this morning. Police say 10-year-old Casey Bailey stayed the night at a friend's house without telling his parents. Again, Bailey has been found safe and the search is off. For the third time since July, residents of Lincoln, Montana have been rattled by an earthquake. A 4.3 quake hit around Thursday afternoon. The U.S. Geological Survey reports the quake centered 4.5 miles southeast of Lincoln at 3.2 miles in depth. No serious injuries were reported. Thursday's tremor felt for hundreds of miles across central Montana, even as far away as Whitefish in northwest Montana. It follows a 5.8 quake that shook the Lincoln area back in July. We turn now to the weather scene, and Ed McIntosh is also shaking things up with the word winter.
That's right. Winter weather outlook. It's time to see what the National Weather Service Climate Prediction Center is saying about the winter months. The lower 2/3 of the United States basically looking at warmer than average temperatures if this forecast comes true. Now, that's in general. That doesn't mean there's not going to be some cold outbreaks. Across northern tier of the state, we could see some cooler temperatures. The rest of the region has equal chances of above, below, below or average temperatures. But as far as precipitation goes, there's a good chance we could see a wetter than average winter across Montana and through northern Wyoming as well. And we'll look for temperatures region-wide to be looking at a lot of readings into the above normal readings through the winter months. So we'll take a look at that when we come back with a complete forecast in a few minutes.
Okay, Ed, we'll check back in. More than 50 women now accuse disgraced movie mogul Harvey Weinstein of sexual misconduct. CBS's Chris Martinez has the latest.
In an essay in the New York Times, Oscar winner Lupita Nyong'o detailed 2 encounters with Harvey Weinstein, the first as a college student at Weinstein's home after a film screening. She writes, "Harvey led me into a bedroom, his bedroom, and announced that he wanted to give me a massage. For the first time since I met him, I felt unsafe." She left that room, but says Weinstein propositioned her again during a dinner in New York. She declined, and as she was leaving, she said to him, "I just want to know that we are good." He responded, "I don't know about your career, but you'll be fine." This is the latest in a string of allegations from more than 50 women against the movie producer.
Part of the reason the story is staying alive is that women keep coming forward, and each tale is so powerful.
Director and longtime Weinstein pal Quentin Tarantino told The Times he's ashamed for not doing anything about the alleged misconduct.
Tarantino said to me specifically on the phone 2 days ago, "Should I have done more? I knew these stories firsthand. One of them happened to my own girlfriend. Mira Sorvino. I didn't take it seriously enough."
Actor Tom Hanks says the Weinstein scandal is a watershed moment for Hollywood.
Since when has this brand of common decency and professionalism been put on hold just because of sexual dynamics in the workplace? It's inexcusable.
Los Angeles police are also investigating a 2013 rape allegation against Weinstein, who denies engaging in any non-consensual sex. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
The Television Academy is initiating disciplinary proceedings against Weinstein, which could terminate his membership. President Trump's former chief strategist is endorsing Montana's current state auditor for the U.S. Senate race in Montana. Steve Bannon, who runs the conservative news website Breitbart, threw his support behind Matt Rosendale. Bannon left the White House and has been actively endorsing candidates for Congress. Breitbart reports Rosendale is conducting a fiercely independent-minded campaign, while the other Republican hopefuls have so far failed to gain traction. Bannon is also expected to endorse a challenger to Wyoming Senator John Barrasso, but Barrasso says he has the full support of President Trump. A candidate for Missoula mayor may have violated campaign practice laws. The Montana Commissioner of Political Practices said Thursday there is sufficient evidence to suggest that Lisa Triepke for mayor campaign violated state campaign practice laws. That complaint was filed by Montana State Legislator Ellie Hill. The commissioner found the Triepke campaign filed incomplete, inaccurate campaign finance reports. The violations could result in fines or charges against the campaign. Triepke is running against incumbent Mayor John Engin in the November 7th election. Pacific Source and the Montana Health Co-op revised their 2018 rates following the Trump administration's announcement ending cost-sharing reduction payments for some policies. Pacific Source's overall average rate will increase about 13%. The average rate increase for the co-op policies will be about 16.5%. The average rate increase for Blue Cross Blue Shield remains unchanged at 22.3%. And according to a release from the state auditor's office, the change only affects silver level plans on the health insurance exchange. Rosendale said all 3 insurers will remain in the marketplace. Smokers are no longer allowed in the major park in Butte. The city's Council of Commissioners voted in favor of banning the use of tobacco at Clark Park. The 9-3 vote bans smoking, chewing tobacco, and even vaping. Signs will be installed to enforce the ban, but no citations or fines will be issued to those in violation. The ban comes after a health department employee noted he collected garbage bags full of discarded tobacco products at the park throughout the summer. The ban could soon be implemented at other parks across Butte in the future. Still ahead on the noon news, President Trump's view on hurricane relief to Puerto Rico at odds with the view of those who actually live there. Details when we come back. But first, Ed has our weather forecast, and he said winter, so stay tuned.
You're watching